Let's move on to Coles in Victoria. Now, we know Victoria is having big problems at the moment with crime. I don't know whether you were watching at 4 o'clock today, Politics Now with Andrew Glenn. You should watch it every day. He had an interview with the head of the Insurance Council talking about car thefts in Victoria, which now make up more than half of the total car thefts in the country. That's how bad crime is in Victoria. So the supermarkets now obviously dealing with shoplifting in their shops too. And one Coles store has gone to the lengths of putting up those sort of monitors that show the CCTV in particular aisles. And I think for a long time we've all known, like you walk into a shop and there's a monitor there that you can look up and you see yourself walking into the shop, which is a bit of a warning, you're on CCTV, we all get that. But they're now putting them up at one store, which is Burwood East, at least one store anyway, above particular items, including, as you can see there, chocolate. I mean, they're putting these things up in the chocolate aisle. One assumes because people are stealing large quantities of chocolate. They put one up in the vitamin aisle because, I don't know, I guess that's the sort of people who are shoplifting. They put one up where the electric toothbrushes are.
They are overpriced.
Well, they are, fair point. But, you know, of all the things, we've reached the point in Victoria now where supermarkets are trying to combat people stealing chocolate.
Oh, it's absurd. And Coles said that retail crime in Victoria is 40% higher than it is just across the border in New South Wales. So this is a localised problem. So you have to ask, well, what is going on specifically in Victoria that you have this level of crime? The lefties will say, oh, it's just the cost of living. These people, they're just battlers, and shame on the supermarkets for raking in billions of dollars of profits when people can't eat. That's why they're stealing. But if that were the case, this would be a uniform trend we would be seeing across the country. The fact that it is limited to Victoria shows either people just think this is a completely lawless state where they can get away with shoplifting and face no consequences, or that's about it. That is the only reason why people would be doing this. And so really, this is an indictment of Labor. And the problem is, once you get into this cycle of people thinking that the law doesn't apply to them, crime just escalates, this becomes the culture, and soon they will end up like US-run cities. When I was in New York last year, you can't even go to a pharmacist and grab things off the shelves because everything is behind locked cabinets. That is where Victoria is heading.
Oh, it's like going to a bottle shop in Sweden. I don't know if you've ever had to do that. They're called Systembolagets. You've got to go in there and you've got to hand over a little list, and then a guy goes back with a trolley behind some sort of caged glass. But anyway, enough about my PTSD from my visit to Stockholm. The interesting thing about this is that it's Burwood East. So Burwood East, as an old Melbourne, I certainly did not grow up in Burwood East. I wish I grew up in Burwood East. Burwood East is like the leafy, classy eastern suburbs. I think it's in actually in the Aston electorate, so very safe Liberal seat until recently. And so if people are shoplifting there because of cost of living pressures, or shoplifting there because they just feel like they can get away with it, like that is a pretty heavy bellwether. Like that's like if people were shoplifting where I grew up in Dandenong, I'd be, cheering them on. It's like, good on you, doing one for the home team. But, again, you would sort of expect that in a depressed area where people are struggling and where crime rates are higher anyway. But if they're doing it in Burwood East, God knows what's happening in other parts of the city.
Yeah, well, it just shows you the state of Victoria.